A lot of people said that at the time, the Queen, the late Queen, who was universally beloved, regardless of whether you were a royalist or not, couldn't have really known the full details of what Prince Andrew was accused of and some of his behaviour, the worst behaviour and the excesses we talked about before. I wonder, there were aspects of the book that you might have been surprised by. Was the level of the Queen's knowledge, the late Queen's knowledge, something that did shock you a little bit?
It did. It shocked me enormously. It's not what I expected. We'd always assumed she'd put the monarchy ahead of her family. And I assumed to start with that she was just putting her head in the sand, an old woman didn't really want to know. But it became increasingly clear that reports were made to her about her son by senior diplomats, by politicians, and she ignored them. In fact, I have a story from intelligence sources of complaints about him basically taking bribes. And this was reported to the Queen, and she didn't want to know.
That is a huge story.
It is shocking because it's not the behaviour we expected of her or indeed anyone in that position. But this is what she did. I mean, every time he was quoted in some new scandal, she'd give him a new honour, or she would, show her support by asking him to walk her to her seat or sit beside him in the car.
So sort of royal washing in terms of sort of reputation changing the story in some way. But there's also some suggestion that he, as you call it, a blind spot. Some people call it the favourite son syndrome.
Today, we're peeling back the royal curtain to reveal a tale of favoritism and neglect. It's a story that revolves around the late Queen Elizabeth II, her son, Prince Andrew, and her grandson, Prince Harry. For years, we've been told that the Queen was a beacon of duty, putting the monarchy and her country above all else. But it seems there's more to the story. Recent revelations suggest the Queen may have turned a blind eye to Prince Andrew's alleged misdeeds, while seemingly leaving Prince Harry to fend for himself. This tale is as intriguing as it is heartbreaking. It's a journey that will take us deep into the heart of the British monarchy, where duty and family collide. So buckle up, dear royal watchers. We're about to delve into the depths of the monarchy and uncover the truth. For years, we've seen the Queen as a symbol of duty, putting her country and monarchy before her family. But is that really the case? Let's delve into a tale that is as intriguing as it is disconcerting. It revolves around the Queen's son, Prince Andrew, and the troubling behavior that, according to a recent book, was not only known to the Queen, but was also consciously overlooked. Now, this isn't just hearsay or conjecture. The author of this book has relied on reliable intelligence sources to bring this truth to light. Reports of Prince Andrew's disturbing conduct, including alleged instances of accepting bribes, reached the Queen's ears through various channels. Senior diplomats, politicians, intelligence sources, you name it. Yet in the face of such alarming revelations, the Queen chose to turn a blind eye. But it wasn't just her silence that was telling. It was her actions, too. Every time Prince Andrew found himself embroiled in a new scandal, the Queen would make a public display of support. She'd bestow upon him a new honor, ask him to escort her to her seat, or have him sit beside her in the car. It was a clear message to the world. My son is untouchable. Now here's where the irony kicks in. The Queen, the very embodiment of duty and service, risked the monarchy and her own reputation to protect Andrew. She allowed a family member with a documented history of scandal and concerning behavior to remain in her inner circle. The Queen's blind eye towards Andrew's indiscretions raises questions about her true priorities, but the story doesn't end there. Stay tuned as we delve into the Queen's contrasting treatment of another family member, her grandson Prince Harry, in the next segment. It's a story of double standards, of love and duty, and of a heartbreaking failure to protect. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. While the Queen was busy protecting Andrew, another royal was left to fend for himself, Prince Harry. Born into the gilded cage of the monarchy, Harry was a young boy of only 12 years when he was thrust into the public eye following the tragic death of his mother, Princess Diana. From that tender age, he bore the brunt of public scrutiny, often positioned as the scapegoat of the royal family. The Queen, his very own grandmother, seemed to turn a blind eye to his struggles. Instead of offering the same support that she extended to her son Andrew, she allowed Harry to be thrown under the proverbial bus time and time again. The most poignant example of this was when Prince Charles, Harry's father, sought to protect his wife Camilla at the expense of his own son. The Queen, rather than stepping in to shield her grandson, allowed Charles to manipulate the narrative, leaving Harry to bear the brunt of public criticism. And what was Harry's crime? He was simply seeking a life of peace and integrity for his own family, away from the constant scrutiny and relentless attacks of the tabloids. Yet instead of receiving the support and protection he deserved, he was left to face the wolves alone. This stark contrast between the Queen's treatment of Andrew and Harry is hard to ignore. Here was a son, Andrew, accused of serious misconduct, for whom the Queen risked the very monarchy she had dedicated her life to protect. On the other hand, Harry, her grandson, who simply sought to live his life with dignity and respect, was left to fend for himself. The Queen's actions reveal a painful truth about her favoritism and raise questions about the values she held dear. It's a disquieting revelation, one that forces us to confront the uncomfortable reality that the Queen's love and support were not distributed equally among her family. Harry's treatment by the Queen has been starkly different from Andrew's, revealing a painful truth about her favoritism. So, what does this favoritism tell us about the Queen? Let's delve into her double standards. The Queen's actions, or rather her inactions, have been revealing. It's hard to ignore the clear favoritism she displayed towards her son, Prince Andrew, while leaving her grandson, Prince Harry, out in the cold. The Queen's public support for Andrew in times of scandal was evident. Each time Andrew found himself in the eye of a storm, the Queen was there, ready to royal wash his reputation with a fresh honor or a public display of unity. And yet, where was this same display of support for Harry? Where was the Queen when the tabloids were tearing him apart? Where was she when he was publicly humiliated, his life scrutinized in a way that no person should endure? The Queen was silent. It's one thing to protect your family. It's another thing entirely to selectively choose who in your family is worthy of protection. The Queen risked the monarchy, risked her own reputation to protect Andrew. She knew of his misdeeds. She had been informed by reliable sources, but she chose to ignore it, to look the other way. And yet, when it came to Harry, a young man whose only crime was trying to find peace for his family away from the unforgiving glare of the public eye, the Queen allowed him to be thrown under the bus. She allowed him to be scapegoated, to be lambasted by the media, without a word of support. The double standards are glaring. The Queen, who was supposed to be a paragon of duty, who was supposed to put the monarchy and her country first, instead showed a clear preference for one family member over another. She chose to protect a son accused of serious misconduct while allowing her grandson to be treated like a pariah. The Queen's double standards paint a disturbing picture of her priorities. This is a truth we must confront, a truth that makes us question the Queen's legacy and what it means for the future of the monarchy. The Queen's favoritism towards Andrew over Harry reveals an uncomfortable truth about her. As we've discussed, the Queen's actions, or rather inactions, towards Prince Andrew's troubling behavior have been laid bare. Despite being informed by high-ranking diplomats, politicians, and intelligence sources, she chose to look the other way. Every scandal was met with a public display of support, a clear message to the world. Andrew was untouchable. This in itself is a disquieting truth, but the irony deepens when we contrast this with her treatment of Prince Harry. From his childhood, Harry was a scapegoat. He was allowed to be thrown under the bus by his own father, Prince Charles, to protect Camilla. The Queen's protection, so readily available for Andrew, was conspicuously absent for Harry. Her favoritism towards Andrew over Harry is stark. She risked the monarchy, her own reputation, to shield a son embroiled in scandal, while she let her grandson be publicly humiliated, attacked by the tabloids, and ultimately forced to leave the country. Some may argue that the Queen's private affections were genuine, that she was a loving grandmother to Harry. But her actions tell a different story. This is the same Queen who had to be practically begged by Tony Blair to show some respect when Princess Diana died. Her self-preservation extended to the heir, his wife, and the favored son, but not to the spare. The late Queen's favoritism and the blind spot she had for Andrew along with her ignorance of Harry's suffering, reveal an uncomfortable truth about her. It's a truth that challenges the image of the Queen as a paragon of duty who puts the monarchy and her country above her family. This is a disquieting truth, but it's one we must face. For too long, we've overlooked this due to Harry's likely immense love for his grandmother, but it's time we confront it head on. This is a disquieting truth, but it's one we must face. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the depths of the monarchy. We've delved into the stories behind the royal facades, unraveled the threads of truth, and faced uncomfortable realities. But remember, it's through these challenging conversations that we grow and understand better. We encourage you to continue this conversation. Share your thoughts and perspectives in the comments below. How do you feel about what we've discussed today? What are your thoughts on the monarchy's double standards? How does this change your view of the royal family? Don't forget to hit the like button if you found our content insightful. And if you haven't already, do subscribe to our channel. We regularly bring you fascinating insights into the world of royalty, shining a light on the often overlooked aspects of their lives. Thank you for watching, and remember, even in royalty, the truth always finds its way out. Stay royal, stay informed. This is Chloe, signing off from Royal Telly.